I've had a few people suggest that I go online and do a do-it-yourself video on how to crochet the plastic yarn, or plarn as it's called. So I'm going to start from the beginning and show you how to cut the plarn first, and then we'll go on to the crocheting of it. So you take your bag and you flatten it out as good as you can. Fortunately, these were never used. I was lucky to get a clerk that gave me a handful of these. So if you could do that, that's better. But you can also straighten out the ones that you have. I've worked with that too. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half lengthwise. And I'm going to hold it up so that you can see it. And then you're going to fold it again lengthwise, keeping the edges very, very straight. Since there's this coronavirus out, a lot of people are home and doing crafts and such, so I thought I would busy myself as well. Okay, once you have it folded twice, lengthwise, we're going to cut off the handles and we're going to cut off the edge. And you want to go in a good inch on this edge because you want to be sure that you get all of it off, and just make a nice straight cut there. This piece can be used to stuff animals or trash if you so desire. I try to recycle everything that I can, so be a better with the economy. So, and then the handles, again, I'm going to cut a good inch into this just to make sure that I've gotten all of the edges and the sack is even at the top. So we don't need that. So we're left with this nice flat piece, and as you can see, I'm using a Target bag. Any plastic grocery bag will do. I just happen to like these because they're pretty and red and bright. The Walmart ones right now are kind of a dingy gray but blue, and they can be used to make mats and things like that too. But for handbags and such, I like the more colorful bags. So if you're out shopping and you see some colorful ones, pick them up for yourself and save a stash, and then you'll have some pretty things to do. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut 1 inch across, keeping it as level as we can. We're going to cut about maybe a little bit bigger than 1 inch, and we're going to cut these loops 1 inch apart, and we'll just continue that process until we've completed the whole. By the way, this was 2 sacks put together, so I'm going to have double the loops when I'm done with this. So it's really not good to do more than 2 at once because they get very, very thick, and you don't want to have to fight the bags because you don't want to tear them or stretch them. So we're still cutting the loops. Looks like I can get 2 more cuts in here. I'm not measuring this. I'm not very, it doesn't have to be just exactly precise. I'm just making sure that it's wide enough that if it is pulled on, then it will not stretch or break. So then you undo it, and you have these loops. That's the next one that look like this. So now I'm going to show you how to connect the loops so that we can form our plarn and make a ball for ourselves. So the easiest way to do it is pull one under the other, and then pull that one under, and then pull it tight until you have a nice little knot. And you try to get that as tight as you can without stretching it. Okay, so, and you can go ahead and crochet right over these little knots. They make little tiny bumps in the project, which are kind of cute. I will show you a project that I've finished. I made a clutch bag out of this plarn. So, I really like the Target ones because they're shiny and bright. But there's a little clutch bag that I've made. Very simple pattern, and I'll show you how to do this as well. These can be made into market bags, bag holders to keep your plastic bags when you're not using them. Again, we're going to just pull this one over under this, and then we're going to pull this one again, and we're just going to pull that tight. And I'll show you that again. I'm trying to go slow so that you guys can see how this is done. I'm undoing my loops as I go. So again, under one, and then pull the next one. It's just a simple lark's head knot, if y'all are familiar with that. So, but this is what you continue doing until you get enough to work with. So I'm going to stop here and finish my putting my loops together, and then we'll resume in a moment. Okay, so I've rolled up the loops that I had. I didn't cut all of them yet. I'm just doing enough to show you this project right now. So once you have them in a ball, you can begin your project, and you just do a regular slip knot just like you would if it were yarn. And I recommend that this yarn be used by someone who's more of an intermediate, only because it's hard to work with. You know, you have to pull kind of hard to get it to do what you want to do, and it can make your hands very, very tired if you're not used to crocheting. So that doesn't mean don't try it if you're a beginner, because we're only going to be using the single crochet stitch for today, and anybody can do that. It's just that this is a little more complicated to crochet than regular yarn, because it's so tough. So I've made my slip knot. And for this project, for this clutch bag, all I did was I crocheted 25. I chained 25, so there's 1, 2, you can count with me, 3, oops, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's my little knot. As you see, I'm just going to pull under it. 9, and you can't even tell that it's got a knot there. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and try to keep it as straight as possible. It likes to curl on you. 15, 16, 17, 18, oops, lost one of them there, 19, and then another knot right there. They're a little harder to push through, but can be done. And I've lost my count. I think I'm about at 20. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no magical number. You just make it the length that you would like your bag to be. And actually, this is fine for a small clutch purse. I'm going to go a little bit further because I want to make this one a market bag, a bigger market bag to take to the grocery store. And what I love about crocheting with these bags, not only is it economical, these are free. You're reusing something that is normally trash. They're very durable. They're waterproof. If you can't afford yarn, which I have had that happen to me a few times, given that yarn is anywhere from $7 to $14 a skein or more in some cases. So be thrifty and use what you have. And I like doing that. I like using what I have and being able to make, you know, a tangible product that I can use and enjoy. So I've got that about the length that I want. So what we're going to do next is we're simply going to go in the first loop of that first one, and we're going to start our single crochet. And then what we'll do to make this market bag is we want to crochet 2 or 3 times in this first chain. And I will show you why in a moment. So this is my second right there. And then I'm going to crochet a third because I like it to be a little bit deeper. Okay, so 3 in that first chain, and then 1 chain all the way down across. So I'll stop the tape here and resume when I've got down to the end. And I'm back. I have crocheted the first row of single crochet, again with 3 in the first chain, and I'm down to the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 in that last chain as well, so that our project will be the same on both sides. So there's 1 and 2. As you can see, I crochet with a fair bit of tension I've always done that. I've always been a little heavy-handed, so mine may look a little tighter than yours, and that's fine. Just as long as you keep a consistent tension, you'll be fine. So we're gonna do 3. So this is the last one. So now what we're gonna do, instead of chaining 1, turning and going back the other way, we're going to just come over to the other side. Okay, so I just flipped it over. And so now we're gonna put 3 in that same hole again, but it'll be on this side. So 1 and 2 and 3. Now we're going to be crocheting. There's an awful big knot there. Let's see if we can work that down a little bit. We're going to be crocheting in a circle now, in the round, instead of, we're going around and around and around instead of just back and forth. So I've got my 3 single, that's my start there. I've got my 3 single crochet in the first hoop, but it's on the underside of this. And so I'm going to continue on into the first loop, and we're going to crochet 1 single crochet all the way across, just like we did the other side. And when we come to the end, we will also do another 3 for this side. Now, once you have completed that row, you're just going to keep going in the round. There's no need to continue crocheting 3 on the end. You've already got that pattern wide enough there to make it a circular, and you can see how this is going. And once you get to the end, you just do your 3, and then you just continue on flipping around and crocheting up the other side. And I'll be back in a minute. So I've got down to the end of the bottom where I started, and so I'm hitting that last loop. So we're going to put 3 in that last one, just like we did on the other side. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. So instead of doing another 3 now, as I turn and go around the other side, I've already got it, the width as wide as I need it. I don't know if you can see that pretty good, but the width is already as wide as I need it to turn. And so this will make a really nice base on your bag. So instead of chaining 1, turning it and coming back this way, we're just going to continue along in the circle that we're in. Sometimes this is where the intermediate part comes in for some of you. Learning to crochet with these bags, it sometimes can be tricky. Sometimes it's hard to find your next stitch, but there it is. So now we're just going to continue crocheting around using our single crochet stitch. And I would not recommend trying to do any double or half double or anything like that with this yarn unless you're just very, very good, because it's a lot tougher to pull this through than it is with regular yarn. So you can see I'm just continuing around in the circle, and I will just continue going around and around until I get a nice base, like in this bag. So continue going around and around, and then once you've reached the point where you like the size of your bag, like I did here, I just crochet on one side from the corner to corner across and made the flap. So it's very simple design. So I hope you enjoy working with your Plarn and enjoy your time off while this coronavirus is affecting so many of us. So be well, God bless, and I will see you next time.